guys, what's up and welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to kind of pick up a discussion that I've been having on this channel for a while. If you've been following along, I have talked at length about Instagram and Twitter allowing certain accounts to exist. And when I say certain accounts, I'm specifically talking about accounts that, in my opinion, cater to pedophiles in the sense of posting pictures of children in weird, revealing clothes and positions. Those types of accounts and other accounts that are deemed as quote-unquote suspicious, which we'll get to in a moment, should at the very least be reviewed, if not completely deleted. And I'm not even a person who's particularly in favor of deplatforming, but I think we can all agree to draw the line that when child predators are the ones being deplatformed, or people generally who are a danger to children, then I'm fine with their accounts being deleted. From what we've seen so far, that hasn't really been happening that often. Even when I've made other videos talking about this subject, plenty of times people would go to report said accounts and then Instagram would be like, oh, we don't see a breach of our community guidelines, which is deflating to say the least. However, it seems that for once we might actually have good news. At least the fact that Instagram is trying to address the problem, trying to take action and find a way to avoid situations like this is in and of itself somewhat hopeful. I don't know how well it's going to work out because, like I said, deeming who's suspicious I think is a complicated thing when it's not a very black and white, obviously creepy page, but we'll get into that in a second. I did want to thank today's sponsor, which is Vessi. Vessi makes 100% waterproof shoes out of a dual climate knit material named Dymatex. This material ensures that you remain cool in the summer and hot in the winter. On top of this, they're easy to clean with water. They're also sustainably made and use no animal products. These are the types of sneakers you leave by the door because you know you're going to wear them out. I personally love Vessi because of their minimalistic design, and living in a place where there's still some snow, and it is still snowing at times, having sneakers that are waterproof and comfortable, they've kept my feet warm without the need of thick socks like with boots, which also take longer to put on. These shoes are also awesome as we're nearing spring and changes of temperature, and Vessis adapt to wherever you are. Check them out at the link below and use my code on the screen to get $25 off your Vessi shoes. Thank you again to Vessi for sponsoring this video. So it's quite surprising that in the year 2021 of all years might be one of the first and few times that I will give you a drop of good news, much like the sole drop of serotonin I've been living off of for the past 10 years. Let's just see what all this is about, because as much as I think this is good news, I also think there are some things that concern me about these updates. So there's this article that came out today, the 16th of March, and it says Instagram will no longer let adults message teens who don't follow them. Teen users will also be shown safety prompts when messaging quote-unquote suspicious adults. So like I said prior, I think the way in which suspicious adults are determined is going to be quite complicated for accounts that are a little bit more covert and less openly creepy or openly posting weird things, because there are accounts I've come across that have no pictures or anything, but they're also DMing minors, and how would you really track that? You know what I mean? So maybe there's something on the back end, I don't know, but that's something that I would be interested in knowing how they're going to determine. So then it also says, as mentioned prior, that there are going to be safety prompts that will be shown to teens when they DM adults who have been quote-unquote exhibiting potentially suspicious behavior. We'll get more into detail about the safety prompts, but I do have to say that's something that I appreciate, because as much as I'd like to think that every parent is technologically literate in the sense of if their kids are using Instagram, they understand how Instagram works, they know what DMs are, they know what stories are, they can determine these things specifically in order to explain to their children what they should and shouldn't be doing. I know that's not necessarily a reality, so I think having those prompts is an extra way, because realistically I think parents should be aware, but at least there's this extra kind of layer of protection. I do think it's an interesting distinction that it's specifically that they won't let adults message teens who don't follow them, which in a way is understandable as a parameter to put out there, but it's also like there's so many loopholes I can already imagine, because even just in the past couple of years, how many times have we seen celebrities of sorts, especially so many musicians, were outed for being inappropriate with their own fans, and obviously the fans will be following the musician. So while I understand that this puts an extra wall between potentially creepy and suspicious accounts. It's also like this won't necessarily be doing as much as we need it to do, though again, I don't really have a solution for that either, because it's not like you can stop people from following anyone, and it's not like you can stop people from DMing minors inappropriately, unless obviously they're deemed as suspicious, but again, that depends on how covert it is. So I'm just curious as to how that's gonna work. I hope it does, but again, I'm curious. Instagram is developing new artificial intelligence and machine learning technology to try and detect someone's age when they sign up for an account. Now, this is where I start to get a little, as much as I don't want any people younger than 13, I think 13 is already quite young to be on Instagram. I also just wonder how they would go about finding that out about someone and how much of that would be a potential breach of information, because how are you really going to find out someone's age unless, I don't know how I feel about that. I understand that hopefully the intention is to protect children, but at the same time, there's a reason I deleted my Facebook, because the breaches of privacy are just scary, honestly. So I'm interested in hearing more about that, hopefully at some point, because as of right now, they're not putting out that much information. Officially, the app requires that users are age 13, as we said, but it's easy to lie about age. The company said they want to do more to stop this from happening, but did not go into any detail about how the machine learning systems might help with this problem. So like I said, this is pretty much all that the article says. There are some parts I didn't read because they were redundant, but I really do have to wonder how exactly all of this is going to work. And in an ideal world, I would just be very excited about this. But on the other hand, Instagram hasn't really been particularly, much like Twitter, proactive in actually acting against these accounts. The other times where I've made videos about specific accounts, people would DM me after showing me that they reported the account, and then Instagram would say, oh, we didn't find any breach of community guidelines. I also have to wonder, as jaded as this is going to sound, how much of this is just PR? Like, how much of this is just them trying to show people like, oh no, we actually really care about this, when we've seen that their community guidelines most of the time, as far as I've seen, disproportionately affect like women showing their nipples or something, or sex workers even. But when it comes to even obviously fucked up accounts that are posting things that are equivalent to child content, if you know what I mean, and then just nothing's done about it. So slightly hopeful, but also not overly so. And in terms of the safety prompts, I do appreciate the prompts that they put, because they give a little example here, as you can see. And I think it's important that they included the part that you don't have to feel pressured to respond. And something that I actually like is that they also said that if you're not comfortable anymore, you can put someone's accepted request back into message request. So in a way, that's kind of like a soft block, which might seem silly, but some people get really upset over being blocked. So this could be a way to avoid any extra type of confrontation, especially if the person is being aggressive already towards them. So I think that's a really smart thing. And then, like I said, the PSAs that really parents should be giving about like not giving pictures or videos, that your safety comes first and not to go on other apps. Like, I think these are all really basic but really important things that hopefully will serve just as reminders instead of like first-time information for a lot of the kids using Instagram. Anyway, you guys can let me know what you think in the comments down below. Frankly, like I said, I'm a little bit split right now just because there's such little information that it's like this could be great or completely useless, but we don't really know yet. Hopefully this is just like the first step in the right direction. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you to my patrons as always. Let's get right into the fan art.